I'm Bet from BettesMakes, and part of Heat Week at the end of October, we're going to make a Boo iron-on t-shirt, and this is going to be a lot of fun. It has a ghost on it with some extra eyes and all kinds of fun little things. So we're going to get going on this project. We won't spend too much time in design space, but we'll spend a fair amount of time on our demo table, just putting this whole thing together because we're going to be using two colors. So let me just hide my text here because we don't need it. I'm going to go to my uploads, and here I have a file, and it's called October Makes Boo T-shirt. Now you can find that template in the resources library on my membership site. So all you need to do is go to BettesMakes.com/membership-sales/ if you are not a member, or if you're already a member, just go into the resources library and you will find our ghost. So I'm just going to add this to the canvas. Now, it has been pre-sized for us, but there's a few things that we need to do. And what I like to do is I like to add a template right to the canvas. And the reason I want to add a template is so that I can make sure that the sizing I have is going to fit on the t-shirt. So let's come over here to templates. Now I have a t-shirt, just a regular one, and I'm just going to scroll down here until I see what I want. And it's, I'll use one like this, a wide neck t-shirt. It looks really good. Now you can see that it's in the background. Remember, it doesn't print with it. Now it's asking me here, it says templates are for reference, will not be saved with your project. Yes, we know that. I'm not too worried about that. But up here is the type. So this is women's short sleeve. That's the only option it gives us, but it gives us some sizing here. I have an extra large one that I'm going to use to give away as sleepwear to my granddaughter. Now this is the file, and what we're using this for is just to see if it's going to fit. I might have to make it smaller or bigger depending on what I'm using. Now it looks like it's going to fit just fine. If I look up at my size up here at the top, it's 11.252, which fits within 11.5. And it is 8.479, and I want it to be under 10 inches. Now, the reason I want to do that is because the easy press that I'm using is 12 inches wide by 10 inches high. And I want my design to fit in there because I don't want to iron it more than once. Okay, that's all we need to do now with the template. So we're not going to worry about the template per se, but I'm going to come down here to the zoom where it says 25%. I'm going to move this up to 100%. And that's so we can start working with this. Now it comes grouped, and you'll see that there are orange things and there are black things, and we need to ungroup this. And what I want to do is just pick on all the goldy orange things. So I'm just going to come over to the layers panel here. I'm going to hold down the shift key and pick all the orange things that are sitting here. Don't worry about the basic text at the bottom. That's my text. Now, those are the things I want to keep together. I could attach them, but what I really want to do is weld them together so they become one piece. This way they're not going to move around when I go to do the cut. Now, for the black pieces, I have the basic cut here, and then I have the boo. So I'm going to go shift click and select all the black pieces, and I am going to weld those together as well, which means they are not going to move out of the way. So even if I move these, it's really easy then to put them on top. All this means now is I have two things we're going to cut, and I'm going to pick two different kinds of iron-on. So I have decided to pick a glitter one. I don't know if you can see me or not. I have a black one for the ghost, and then I've got this glitter one that I'm going to use for the eyes. So they don't stand out as much as the yellow, but at least I've got two different ones that I'm going to be using it. Okay, let's save our project. I'm going to click on save, and it's going into my October makes. There we go. And this is a Boo t-shirt. This is a lot of fun. So let's click on save. Perfect. Now let's go over to Make It. I'm using my Maker 3. You'll be able to use any Explorer or any Maker for this particular project. It's just too wide for being able to cut this on the Joy, but if you wanted to cut it on the Joy, you just have to make it smaller in order to make it fit. So let's just click on Make It here. And we're going to go on Mat. So I have these little guys that are going to cut out like this, and you can say, oh, that looks like a waist. Why don't you put them together? Well, I don't want to put them together because I want them to cut as one piece, and then I can remove the outside pieces. And that is so I can put them together a lot easier. Now, on the second one, we have the boo component, and that's going to be about 9 inches. So I know I can cut a 9-inch piece to fit in there. And for the top piece, I only have to go as far as 4 inches. So next thing I really want to do is cut my vinyl so that I'm going to fit it on the mat. These all look good. The second one here is boo, and it's iron on. Now, before we cut it, we have to remember that it's going to iron on backwards. So we're going to have to click on mirror. Really important. So it looks backwards here. But click on mirror, otherwise you're going to get the boo backwards, and that's not what we want to do here. All right, we're all ready to go. I'm just going to click on the top one again, and I'm going to actually mirror this one so that it fits properly as well. So if they're both mirrored, then we know that they're going to fit together. So let's click on continue, and it's going to hook up with the machine, I hope, very shortly, and then we're going to pick our material. And I'm going to get my cutter out, and I am going to cut the pieces that we need. So just hold on here. Okay, so we want, these are favorites. Let's see, infusible printer. Let's see what's popular. Smart iron on. They've got a lot of smart vinyl ones. Smart. I'm just going to pick I think they're everyday iron on. And remember, all it wants is to cut it, and we're going to be ready to load the mat. But before we do that, I want to switch cameras. Now, I have my Easy Press ready here, and it's heating up. And I went to the heat guide, and it said 330. So it looks like I'm going to have to push the temperature up here a bit. Just add to it, push the temperature. 330 and 30. Now that's the Cricut heat guide to get that to the right temperature. I have my little tool kit here with all my different tools. I'm not going to need that right now, so I'm going to move that out of the way. I have 2 mats that I'm going to be using. These are the standard grip mats, and I've got my iron on that I'm going to be using. Now I've got a glitter one, and that's what I put my setting to, and then I have a regular one. So this first one is at glitter, and the next one is a regular iron on, and they're both Cricut products. And then of course I have my t-shirt hiding behind here. Remember, this is a pajama size one. I know my granddaughter's going to absolutely love it to sleep in, but there we are. We have this. I'll just move that out of the way while we load up our paper, and I'm going to cut some pieces off here. I'll get rid of one of the mats. All right, I'm going to start with my glitter iron on. And if you remember when we were looking at it with the glitter iron on, we only needed it to come over 4 inches, 4 inches by 9 inches. And that's just a matter of just picking on this. We pull this apart. And I think this piece will probably work just fine. Measure this out. So we've got the 9 inches, but I just need it at 4. Now this is just an easy way on the mat. So I only actually need it to come to here, so I can cut a piece off the bottom so that we're not wasting too much material. I'm just using my scissors to give it a rough cut. Once I have 4 inches, I will be good to go. Always use it. Okay. So now this is the vinyl. Remember that this is the shiny part that is going to show up, and it is covered in a glossy area. But we're going to be cutting the pieces in the back. And because you want the glitter to show up, I'm just going to put it into place here just like this. And you'll notice it came down a little crooked, but it doesn't matter for what we're cutting. Make it align more to the top. There we go. And I use a Brayer tool just to make sure things have stuck down the way I want them to stick down. I just want to make sure our material is set correctly. And this one is a glitter iron-on. Make sure our materials are correct. Okay. Okay, perfect. And that's just to make sure that we get the right cut on it. Give it another little push here. Just move this out of the way. I'm just going to pull this forward so I have some room across the back. And it looks like we are good to go. All right, let's just load this on. It won't take very long to cut. And that is fast. It's done on this. I'll just put it off to the side and then we'll load up our next one. Let's take the protective cover off. Now our next one, we needed a piece that was 9 inches. So let me just move this off to the side for a second. So this is 12 inches wide. I'm not too worried about it, but we do need 9 inches. So I'm just going to take it off here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, right to the blue line here. Make sure it's pretty straight. Just going to grab my scissors. Even if it's a little longer, won't make any difference. Perfect. Now I can get rid of that and we can put it all on top of our mat. Straight edge here. As close as possible. And remember to flip it over, shiny side down. Right, let's make it a little easier. I like to hold it up so that I can line this up as best as possible. It's pretty close. A little crooked, but I don't think that's going to make any difference on the edges. Okay, let's use our Brayer tool. And I'm just going to now this is not a glitter iron-on, so I'm going to have to change my material type. And it is going to be a regular iron-on. Not every day, but it is a vinyl iron-on. So I'm going to browse all my materials to make sure I've got the right one. Just type in iron. It will give me a list, and it's not smart. So I have to pick one that's going to be pretty close. I'm just going to call it everyday iron on and call it done. And it is ready to take on what I'm going to give it here. So let's load the mat. We're going to unload our mat. I'm just going to push this to the back so we have some working room here. And I'm just waiting for design space. I'm just going to click on finish and then I can move that out of the way. So we are getting ready to put everything together. And of course, what we need to do is start weaving these two pieces. Now I have my little toolkit here that I generally use. I'll shut my machine off and just close the lid. There we go. And inside here, of course, I have all kinds of little tools. I have the straight weeding one, and it's got a little tiny hook on it. I have other weeding tools in here as well, and this one also has a bit of a hook. So those are the general ones that I tend to use. And I'll just put these other items out of the way. This is a cute little toolbox that I got at the dollar store. It cost me a whole $1, but I'm able to keep all my tools in place that way. Okay, I know the hard thing is to be able to see what is on the mat. And if you have a nice overhead light, you can do so. The other thing you can do is you could sprinkle a little baby powder on here, and then you'd be able to see the lines. I am pretty lucky with this one. I am able to see 90% of it when I move it. I'm just going to take the middle out of the O here so that we can see what's going on. Just going to move these off to the side. Started doing this, I started to worry about extra stuff. So I'm just going to get rid of our extra pieces here off of our table. So we're not going to mess with them. I just want to double check, make sure everything looks pretty good. Remember, this is a sticky side, so that's what's going to attach to the shirt. Now, the harder part, I see a little piece here we don't need. Part is going to be able to find the little eyes that are on here. So same method. I'm going to go from an edge this time because I absolutely cannot see the cut lines. So this is going to be a little more difficult, but I should be able to pick up the outside edge here. This is not the easiest thing to do, and it can be very frustrating when you're first starting out. To exactly what you're trying to get apart here. Absolutely not that easy. It takes a little perseverance and we will get there. There it is. Sometimes it's just a matter of just holding it into place, and there we go. We've got our eyes. Let me just move this out of the way. We don't need that anymore. Now you may be thinking, oh, what the heck? I've got all of these things. I need to put these into place so that they're going to fit with them as well. And I need to have the shiny side down. So we know that we're going to have to put these into place right here. So I have a little trick that we're going to use, and I'm just going to cut the sticky part away here. A lot of it away, actually. So we know that we need the sticky part up, and we know that this needs to go here. Now you see I still got some extra parts here that are overlapping onto our ghost, and that's not exactly what I want. So I'm just going to pull this up. I'm going to take some more of the sticky off. Probably get as close as possible. This is just a little trick about how you can layer things without losing, you know, the placement of it. Just takes a little bit more off here. Now this ghost is going to go like this. It's really good. I'm going to have to do the same thing with the eyes. And first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut away just the edges here. As you can see, this is really sticky. Cut that piece off right there. And we're going to cut these pieces off right here. Now, what I'm going to have to do, because I want the sticky part up, I know where I want them to be placed and I want them equal. So I'm going to push just one of them down like this, and then I'm going to cut the pieces around it. Now, this is a little more difficult because the scissors will stick to the plastic. However, we do this right, it's going to look tremendous. So what I'm going to do right now is just get my scissors underneath here. I'm just going to get them underneath, but I'm not going to cut it all the way through because I want to make sure my placement is correct. So let's place these where we need them to be. Maybe down just a little bit more. About there. So I want this one here. Now, take that apart. Just leave that one down. Now all I have to do is just remove the edges of this other one. Now I know this is a sticky mess. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. We don't want any overlap because then it won't iron on. And that looks pretty good. I've got a little overlap on this edge. Let me just turn it around. As you can see right here, there's a small amount of overlap. So we cut that edge off, and because I've already placed them, wanted them. There we go. Now it's got the sticky side, so I don't have to worry about, I don't have to iron on twice. I'm only going to iron on once with this. Everything's in place. So now what I want to do, of course, is remove this from the mat and then put it right on the t-shirt. So let's just get rid of any extra little pieces here. Let's bring out our t-shirt. Let's put this up here for a moment. And of course, we want to be able to match this up to the center as best as possible. So what I suggest you do is just take it and fold your shirt in half. I'm not going to make any creases. This is going to be so easy. So you've got it in half. We know exactly half of what we want to put on here. Let me just keep this thin. I'm going to now make this easy on ourselves. I'm just going to take my easy press mat here and I'm just going to give it a quick press. Just a quick press here, just so I get some heat on it and make a little crease. There we go. I've got enough of a crease here that I'm going to be able to line this up without a problem. So just got enough of a little crease. You can see it right here. So now I'm going to take this. I'm going to peel the mat from it. Peel it off the mat. There we go. Approximately half. And I wanted a couple of inches down, so I've got my halfway mark right about there. I think that's exactly where I want. I don't want any extra little pieces here. So we're getting our little boo piece right on here. Looking nice. Just want to make sure everything's stretched out. Now all I have to do is, of course, iron this on. And what they suggest you do it is upside down so it adheres properly. So here is what we're going to do. I'm going to just move a lot of my weeding tools out of the way so we're not about different things getting in our way. Scissors out of the way. All right, we want to place our mat on the back side of it like this. No pig, this side goes down, so we know that. So we're just going to flip this over. Just going to take it like this. just to make sure that when I flip it, I get the whole thing the way I want it. Now this is the back side that we're going to be ironing from. Now I don't want to, get any of the stuff bleeding on the inside of where our mat is. So because it's going to be pressing down right on the mat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slide inside here a little piece of cardstock. Now, what I generally do is I just take any old piece of cardstock because I want to make sure that it's not going to bleed through or do anything that's going to ruin my shirt. So I can take any kind of cardstock that I want. And I've just used these two pieces and there's just nothing on them. So what I'm going to do is open up my shirt. I'm going to put this inside, and that is just to protect everything. We know that it's going to iron on from that point. Now I can't see the design right now, but if I lift it up, I can see where it's going to be at the bottom is approximately here to here. And we know from width to width that that is going to fit. Just want to make sure. Yep, we're looking good on that side. This is always a double check. And we are right on the edge of this one. Yep, right on the edge. So I can just move it slightly. We are looking good. Now, our heat is ready to apply, so I'm just going to put it on top, and I'm just going to press my little Cricut, and it'll count down. And that is actually all there is to making this work. Once it is finished doing the ironing, we have to just make sure that it's going to adhere properly. This is going to be a cute t-shirt. We're absolutely going to love this one. I have, I use the heat guide in order to do the iron on part of it. It gave us a beep, so I can just move it out of the way. There we go. Now I'm just going to pull this off just like this. Now it should cool down just a little bit. I can feel the heat when I see it right here. Should just come off when it's cooled down a bit. I just want to double check. I have another thing that I like to do, and I know with this press, you're supposed to press it from that other side. I am actually going to press the top of it as well, just to make sure it's going to stay in place. I'm going to put my card on top. Now I know this is a double press, and I'm just going to press my Cricut, let it count down. I just want to make sure everything's in place because sometimes it will not adhere the first time through. And a lot of people get very frustrated with it when it doesn't work. Now, this is a very high temperature. This is at 330. But we just want to make sure that it's going to, and the extra little heat is not going to hurt anything. It might shrink your material a little bit, but that's all. But it's not on long enough to make a huge difference. So let's just move this over here. Take off my extra piece of cardstock here. Now it looks like everything is going to lift off. You can see on the top of it, when you look closely, when you do it for yourself, you're going to see little bubbles, and that means it's probably adhered to the shirt. Now this is not like infusible ink. This is actually iron on, and this is going to be the cutest little t-shirt ever. Here, so you can see where it's coming off nicely, whereas before it was not. There we go. Be able to just pull it right off. See what happens with our shiny bits. They stay exactly where I want them to stay. Oh, that is wonderful. We still have some plastics in here, and I'm just going to pull those off. Just give me a second here. Just pull this extra piece off. And that's an easy way of doing layering without having to be concerned about, double ironing it. Now, isn't this adorable? This is a most adorable t-shirt. I know you're absolutely going to love this one. So until next time, when we get some more for Heat Week, I hope hope you enjoyed this. The template will be in the resource library. And until next time, happy crafting.